Hey everyone, welcome back to Jordan Samuel Skin Talks. I have one of the most special guests today who, if you're coming to this channel, this person needs no introduction, but I'm here with the one and only Josh Rosebrook.
Hello, so happy to be here.
Thank you for coming, Josh.
Thanks for having me.
We are down in Los Angeles, and I asked Josh to come and film with me, and he graciously agreed. And so we're here in this lovely space.
Airbnb.
And I want Josh to talk a little bit about his philosophy on skincare and his philosophy about how he formulates and creates his products, and then it'll probably just mesh into something lovely and beautiful and a bigger skincare talk like the skincare world is. So have at it.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. And of course, I love seeing you.
Vice versa.
And well, okay, if you don't know anything about my line, my philosophy to skin really is about, it's a holistic approach. So I really do believe in, to start out, what I do is I consider what I call skin days, DAES, and that is diet, allergy, exercise, and stress.
Oh, I love that.
Oh. Thank you.
Yes. I mean, yes, I agree with all of that already. Going further.
Obviously, so it's self-explanatory, but it's about addressing all of those. And I think of it in terms of diet and then allergy awareness, whether or not you are attuned and sort of curate your diet around what you are potentially allergic to and have that checked. And then exercise, circulation, and stress management is, just extremely important and always not understood or valued enough. So that's my approach, and really when it comes to skin in the process, I really don't see products as changing the skin. I see them as supporting skin function and structure to create healthy skin. We're totally in alignment on this. We agree on pretty much everything. But it really is about sort of a subtle nuance and understanding that, ingredients and products don't change the skin. They support and accelerate the skin's natural healing process. And I think when we understand it that way, we're less inclined to buy into marketing that isn't true or leads us in the wrong direction. And that's my quick sort of condensed approach to skin. And then my approach with product development is a little bit more different, as I do love and really appreciate natural ingredients and always organic, but not because I necessarily think that they are better than anything else. I use them when they're most effective. And ultimately, my specific approach has to do with an herbal approach to skin, choosing specific herbs that combined create what I call herbal synergy, and that synergy is focused on the strength and ability of the antioxidants and the anti-inflammatories, which, as you know, is anti-inflammatories, calm, soothe, and help support skin healing function, and then antioxidants are what I based my line around, which is the free radical theory of aging. So
I love it, and there's a lot that I want to go into on that, because the days thing, I feel like I've not heard that or not heard you speak of that. I mean, maybe I have and just been like, oh, that's great, and then moved on.
But no, you haven't heard.
Okay, because I just heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Absolutely, I actually have not posted about it. It's part of the new branding for my website that I'm working on and doing over the next few months.
Oh, well, oh my God, I love it.
Thank you.
But it actually is, and I want to really go into that too, because that is something, so especially the diet and the allergy part, I'm going to talk about myself for a second, but I have very minor allergies to certain weird foods that I got a blood test on. I know all about it, and I do continue to eat them because I like them.
Right.
But I know, for me now, because I know it, it's something that I know that there's going to be a reaction, and it's always on the skin, and it's always, and for me it's egg whites, which I'm sadly allergic to egg whites. I thought it was going to be the yolk. I knew I had an issue with eggs, but I thought it was the yolk. No. Anyway.
So you can eat the yolks?
Yeah, right? Like, and my cholesterol would be 6,000 or whatever those numbers are.
Be careful.
But I still eat egg whites because I enjoy them. And however, I know that it affects, like, I'm not deathly allergic. Like, it's not being probably great for my body, but it's not like Right. Nothing terrible is going to happen, but I do see it come out sometimes in skin irritations, and so again, it's above and beyond product and product application.
Yes, that's why I call it allergy awareness, because I am slightly, mildly allergic to avocados, but I eat them every day, and I know
That's a sad allergy. Sorry.
I know it's horrible. It's very mild, but it's
but
real.
it's there.
And
but yeah,
so
exactly.
it's a reaction, and how that translates into my skin, it can be something. So.
No, it's a big point, because right, you could be doing actually everything correct topically, and you feel like you're not because of maybe something you're eating, and then we can continue into stress, and which is, I think, so overlooked. And I think we're all living in a way more stressful time than ever.
Yes.
Being constantly connected by our phones.
Because we associate higher levels of stress as being normal.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's become
we've sort of just our tolerance for it. Yeah.
Which is crazy. And that to me is, so again, I'm going to talk about myself again.
It's your show.
But I mean, I could talk about clients, but it's easiest to talk about myself. But my skin, diet affects it off and on a little bit, especially if I'm eating egg whites or other things. But stress is the worst thing for my skin. When I am not happy or super stressed out or traveling and not getting enough sleep, and I know the cortisol levels are spiking, my skin is a disaster zone. It's red, it's broken out. And again, I think it's one of those things for people who aren't really they might be feeling stressed, but again, because it's not a topical thing, it's not something that they're really interacting with their skin with, but is that stress is out of sight, out of mind in terms of its relation to the skin.
Right.
Right? Like it's somebody who's stressed out, who's blaming their products, which it could be the products depending on what the situation is, but who will go there first when it's all these other things that you just mentioned.
Yeah. There's just a huge range of why someone's skin might be having a reaction.
Yeah.
So, and then the final one too, S on the end of stress, sleep.
Oh, so God, yes. No,
That's what makes me look the worst if I have a poor night's sleep.
Sleep to me is a non-negotiable. Like I really have to, if I know I might be going to bed later the next night, I have to then start the day late. Like it's coming somewhere.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes you just have a poor night's sleep for whatever reason, even though everything's set up to be great.
Yeah.
And but then I was saying to my partner Erin a few days ago that like it happened somewhere during the next day. Like whether it's a long nap or but sleep is so important.
But like what you're saying is like all of these things need to be in the consciousness of everyone in terms of assessing your skin and what's happening. You don't just go topically for whatever you're applying topically to be the reason for it or to be the answer.
Exactly. Done. We're done. Good night.
Bye.
But it's so true. It is so true. And right, you can't be having, I mean, you can certainly, but having a Big Mac and a Diet Coke twice a day, every day, and then wanting your moisturizer to do more. Or, and searching for something to fix that.
Right.
Like, it's never going to be that way. You might get away with it for a little bit of time, but eventually it's going to tip the way that you're treating the whole being.
Absolutely. And I think that ultimately when people are, seeing it as an art, the art and science of your skin, that's why it's so important. What we were talking about earlier really has to do with the whole people really wanting to find out what regimen is going to best serve them, and it's not so easy to find, and everybody wants it quickly, and so it turns into a lot of jumping around and asking people what they think they should be using, and it's just never that easy. So
it's never that easy. I mean, it really isn't. Again, too, there's also going to be life decisions that, again, back to diet, like for me, I'm not going to give up my martinis and red wine. But I know it's going to affect my skin, it's like you're finding the products that, again, to your word, which I love, is support the skin.
Yes.
Support the skin, so you're sort of supporting the health of the skin topically, while also enjoying your life.
Exactly, and I say everything in moderation, including moderation.
I love that.
Yeah,
it's true.
It's amazing.
It's like true.
And it's that, and it's not, we're not finding balance, we're continually balancing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just, that assessment intuitively is what I find so important, and as well as what you spoke about when you talk about skin tuition, it's really that, being able to understand and tune into what's going on with your skin, what you're using, what's going on all of those levels we discussed, what are your skin days, and finding out what's going on. Many times it's being comfortable not knowing.
Yeah, and totally just not giving into, but letting go, I guess, just allowing them to, be and take the journey with it.
And don't you think that when it comes to the industry and what we're all coming from, is most of us have all grown up being marketed this idea of beauty being very fixed and singular ingredient focused, that is a miracle product that will fix everything. And really the American consumer has been the most bombarded with that false idea, and I still have pieces of that in me. We all do.
We all do.
And so it's about deconstructing that and putting ourselves back together and excavating this really marketing fear-driven, thing that's been forced into our minds about, and understanding like what we're talking about: diet, exercise, allergy awareness, stress, sleep, and these things that contribute. I wish it was easier, but it's not.
Same. Right, I do wish it was easier. Yeah. And though I do feel like it could be easier, really not in the States, but I talk about it a lot on the channel, but the Mediterranean diet and the Mediterranean lifestyle is taking over because it's working. They're finding that's where the longevity is in life, that's where happiness and health and lower risk of cardiovascular disease and all these other things. There's this great book called Blue Zone that I always mention. But to me, after what we just talked about, then you look at something like the people in Sardinia, where the life expectancy is very high. They're sort of checking all of those boxes. They're serious about their sleep. They're living a lower stress life. They're eating a really great diet. They're probably walking. It might not be intense exercise, but they're walking more. They're out. They're moving.
They live in a strong community.
Exactly.
Which
Community is a big
stress.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So right. I wish it was easier, and I think it could be easier, but I think in the day and age that we're living in now, especially in our communities, it's not. So being constantly mindful of all of those things is important.
Right, exactly. And what is that? That is living well, living our best. And then ultimately it's reflected in our minds, our hearts, our skin, our glow, our balance, everything that's beautiful. And then we have products that support that and protect it, which can slow the decline. And that's like the big shift, I think, that we're so much a part of in our community is sharing with people that, how powerful topical applications can be and how beautiful they are and how much they contribute to our wellness and our health, but how it's just not the singular approach to looking good and feeling good.
And you need them too. That's the thing, you need the products as well. So not to downplay that with what we're talking about, I don't think we are, but just as a side note, you need that support always, of course. But to really get the best skin of your life, all the other things need to be in play as well.